Hi, I just wanted to hop on and talk a little bit about something I notice I say in my videos quite a bit. And to be honest, I don't even think I realized I was saying it. And I'm not sure where I got this phrase from, but it means a lot to me now that I notice that I'm saying it. So I want to explain to you what I mean when I say soul signature. So when I use the phrase soul signature, what I'm referring to is who we are on a soul level at our core. Every human being has a very unique vibrational quality. It is vibrational, but there's also other aspects that are elemental and energetic that could be seen as our name at a soul level. That's what I mean when I'm referencing the soul signature. And I'm thinking about qualities that existed before conditioning, before wounding, clearing away some of all of that extra that I know is not me, and coming back to my own unique soul signature, my own unique frequency, vibration, other qualities that are unique to me as a person. And I know that each layer that I begin to heal, each layer that I begin to incorporate back into myself, fragments and parts of me that I had disowned that I bring back, I'm also getting closer and closer to my soul signature. But it's also why I feel like mindfulness and meditation is so powerful, because when we sit in that space and do practices that allow us to be alone and marinating in our own soul essence, it sort of recalibrates us, retunes us back to that original default frequency. And I think that that's amazingly powerful and super important. As we evolve more and more as human beings and we vibrationally start to shift, I see it as though the goal is eventually to be able to thread ourselves through the eye of a needle, with the eye of the needle being the shape that our soul really fits in. But because we have all of these layers of accumulated energy that are not us, that are conditioning, that are other people's expectations, other people's energies sort of layering over top of us, that if we were to try and thread that needle right now, we wouldn't be able to get ourselves through it. And so these practices sort of allow us to shed that more and more and more over time, so that eventually we can slip through with the needle and out the other side. And out the other side, meaning we are able to feel lighter, feel brighter, feel more in tune with our true essence. It should feel heart expansive. That's why heart expansion is such an elemental experience that people have when they are meditating over a period of time. You'll start to feel this really powerful well of love that you can tap back into. That is, to me, a sign that you are on the right track and that you are getting back into alignment with that true soul signature that you came here with. Something that I've noticed as I've tried to get more and more in alignment is that there's a side of me that I'm coming to discover that I didn't even know existed. And to be honest, this has been happening more recently because I think that as human beings, some of this work is starting to happen faster and faster. It used to take years or even generations to shed old layers and step into the next iteration of who we are as a person. It used to take much longer, but lately there's been a quickening. It's happening much more fast. Much fast. It's happening faster. And so because of that, and because I'm starting to notice this quickening in the process for myself, there are aspects of myself that I'm coming to get to know or to get re-familiar with, I'll say, that are surprising to me. Like, there is a side of me that I've tapped into that I didn't even know existed that wants to talk openly and freely in these videos. The old version of me would have never felt comfortable doing that. And this version of me kind of scares me. At times I'm sort of like, really, are we doing that? I guess we're doing that. And it doesn't even feel like a discussion, because it feels like the version of me that would have said no and cowered in fear of doing something like that was not really me. If I look at one version versus the other, this version of me feels much more in alignment with who I know I am, even though it scares me. It scares me a lot. There are a lot of things that I think about doing videos about that I still think the old me shows up and says, not yet. Let's not go there yet. I'm sharing this because I know there are people out there who can resonate with what I'm saying, who are sensing a new layer of themselves coming on board, who are becoming more and more connected with who they are at their soul signature level, and who are a little afraid of what that implies they might need to do next, and sort of stand at that fork in the road that represents, do I continue to ignore who it is I know that I am now, Or do I stretch into this new phase and get myself used to the fear that means I'm going to have to get used to regulating, because it is scary. It's all new, right? And I do know that there are plenty of us that are not feeling ready to do that, and that's okay. What I will say is that it is uncomfortable to not do it. It's uncomfortable to continue to go down the path of familiarity, even though it feels like it would be comfortable because it's safer and more familiar. It starts to become agonizingly uncomfortable to become aware that you're not allowing yourself to be fully you. That can tend to make people feel very closed in and trapped and energetically small, when really we're meant to be feeling really big and expansive. And that's when we feel our best. And because we can tap into our authenticity, that's where we can really experience true connection. And all of that are things that we want. It's hard to access those things, though, when we're not allowing ourselves to be who it is we're becoming at each new phase. Something that I want to also reference is that as a therapist, oftentimes I'll see that people created a life that is so busy that they don't really have time to reconnect with their soul signature. There's no space. They come home, they're immediately off to the next thing. At night, maybe it's so busy that they just crash, or they have trouble sleeping because it's the one part of the day where the parts of them that have been wanting access to them will come creeping in and be like, knock, knock, knock. Now that you're resting, I would like time with you. And so people will push that away and have trouble sleeping and not want to sit with all of this stuff that has been waiting for them to learn about who they are and what this version of them wants out of them, wants out of this life. And so we can postpone the work, but basically it'll be uncomfortable. And I don't think that it's sustainable over the long term. I think that eventually people really do reach a maximum capacity of being able to neglect this growth, this transition, and then they just sort of like crumble under the weight of it. And by then it's sort of like, I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm not sure why I feel this way. I have so many reasons to be happy. Why am I not happy? And so layer by layer, when you start to peel that back, you get more and more information about what it is that's been waiting for you there to see, and work up the bravery and courage that it takes to turn toward it rather than turning away from it, and giving yourself the energy and attention that you deserve, that you really are more than happy to give other people. This is really a form of spiritual hygiene that I think we're not taught. Oftentimes we're taught all other forms of hygiene growing up, but nobody really talks to us about what it means to be on top of our spiritual hygiene. It involves learning how to sit with yourself. It involves learning how to be honest with yourself. It involves learning how to enjoy your own time and to feel into your own energy and your own essence, and learn to love that place. And to me, that's where true, genuine self-love comes from. That's where we're tapping into divine love, and it becomes really beautiful and healing. And I'm saying all of this knowing that, like, I didn't even teach my kids that. Like, it wasn't on my radar back then. It is now. So now I'm in a place of like, okay, how do I talk to my teenagers about some of these things that I never really emphasized when they were younger? So anyway, this ended up being a little longer than I planned, but I hope it was helpful, and I'll come back with a new video soon. Bye.